and welcome back to another episode of Screen Tested. I am your host Tyrant, and in today's episode I wanted to take a look at some of the Black Myth Wukong weapons and kind of just have a little bit of analysis and discussion with you guys. Are they good? Now the reason why I'm doing this is because I really like them, but I'm not going to make every single one of them. But I thought there was enough there to talk about because obviously we have done the staff, we have done Ryu Jingu Bang, and it was fantastic. Loved it, right? But I thought let's take a look at some of the other different types of styles of not only his staff, but some of the other weapons in the game. I thought it would be fun, so let's get started. It's really hard to find, obviously, images of the dedicated weapons, right? So I'm going to be using this miniature as examples, I guess. So let's start off with the Tiger Greatsword. Something easy and something that we can discuss about. So, what do we think of this design for a sword? All right. I like the blade. I think the blade would be, reasonably speaking, obviously, functional, as in it would be a monster of a chopper when it comes to the blade. However, when it comes to the handle, I've got some issues with it. First off, it's very short. It's a very short handle relative to how big this blade would be, right? On top of that, it is a round handle, which means that it would be terrible when it comes to indexing and especially hitting with such a large cleaving blade. It means that when the blade would make contact with stuff, it would really just want to roll in your hand, which would not be ideal. It has not really any counterbalance, which isn't terrible, right? Because obviously all of the weight of the blade is at the front. It's a cleaver, it's a chopper. So overall, I'd probably say this is, if this was a regular size sword, right? It would be a monster when it comes to actually using it. I do think it would be a little unbalanced, but relatively speaking, it'd be cool. It'd be a cool sword, sure. The design itself isn't terrible. There's just a couple of little tweaks, specifically down near the handle and hilt portion. I would probably change up because it has a bit of issues there. Next up, let's go with Erlang Shang's spear, right? Now, obviously, this is something that I wanted to do a dedicated episode on, and I may still at one point. But before we get to then, let's talk about it now because I like it. I do actually like the spearhead, but there's a couple of little gripes I have with it. First and foremost is I think the proportions are a little out of whack. So what I would personally do, I would move down these points, these spikes. I'd move them further down here so we have more cutting surface up near the top of the head. So the spearhead gets longer, which means it can thrust deeper while also cutting, kind of like a hewing spear, while also keeping these right angle points, because obviously you can use them to actually cleave and cut, and even in some cases maybe as like anti-armor, right angle picks essentially. So I think the head is pretty good. I don't mind it. I would just probably play with it a little bit. So there's a lot here that I do like. This crossguard here, I feel like it's a bit too chunky. I would probably want to make this a bit thinner, not on this dimension, but on the other dimension, on its actual width, make it a little bit thinner, because I've seen it in the game. It's bloody thick. I do like, again, that it has the spike, which means you add versatility. So overall, Erlang Shang Spear, I think it's pretty good, and I think it would be pretty functional and pretty reasonable. A little bit out of balance because we have a lot of material up near the head, but generally speaking, pretty good. If you're enjoying today's episode, you should consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. Sorry, Tony, I didn't mean that one, buddy. Next up, let's go with the Willowwood Staff. Now, obviously, there's a lot of different staffs that you can get in the game. I'm a big fan of, this staff, obviously the main promotional material staff, but that doesn't mean that there aren't some other cool designs. And one that I do like is actually this one. This one is very elegant in its design, and whereas this one here has a lot of like protruding bumps and painful areas where if you hit someone with them, you were going to do a lot of damage. This one here is a little bit more subtle, but it's still going to be completely functional. It's more of like a club. It has like clubbed ends, I would say, rather than where this one would kill you, essentially. So this one here I do like. I think it's a little bit more elegant. I think it would be a completely functional design. I reckon the balance would actually be really good on it. So I like the Willowwood Staff for sure. Next up, why don't we have a look at some funny ones? So the 9-tooth spiked rake. I mean, I'm torn about it because it is a force multiplier, meaning it is a weapon, technically speaking. You could probably hurt someone with it, but that doesn't mean it's good, right? It's not like this is not a weapon that I would take to the battlefield, specifically because, you know, this the rake head itself is kind of looks like a comb, honestly. I do like that it has a butt spike. Essentially, a butt spike is just a spike on the butt of the thing. So that is extra versatility and functionality that I do like. I don't know how, like, a rake is a force multiplier. It gives you reach, so funnily enough, it's actually not terrible, but I don't know if I'd call it a good weapon design, essentially. Just before we continue with today's episode, I wanted to show you this. Now, this is not like a sponsorship or anything like that, but Hero Games reached out to me. They're a business partner of Black Myth Wukong, and they said they wanted to send me pretty much just this, a gift box. Apparently it's filled with, like, I'm guessing some merchandise, right? Especially stuff that I think they're now offering, like as in Black Myth Wukong merchandise. So let's see what's in here, because I have no idea. We've got some plushies by the look of it. 2 of them, actually. Okay, all right. I'm guessing these are maybe t-shirts or something. There's a bloody lot of them. Just before we look at the t-shirts, let's have a look at some of this stuff here. So this is, by the looks of it, I have no idea. Let's open it up. Let's open it up. Oh, it's a bag. Oh, I see. All right. That's cool. All right. What have we got on here? That's very hard to see. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it on camera. It's actually a really nice quality as well. This is way thicker than the stuff that you usually buy. I think it's double layered. But you got a nice little bag. That's nice. And they do have tags on them, so I am guessing that, like, if you want any of this merchandise, you can actually just buy it, I'm assuming. What's this? What have we got in here? Badges, a badge set. Let's see what we got. So we got a badge set as well with characters from the game. That's pretty cool. I like that. These look like they're high quality, maybe enamel. I think that's cool. That's cool as. All right, let's have a look at some of these, whatever they are. How do we open them? First off, it feels really good quality, actually. Is this a jumper? Yeah, kind of a jumper. Check that out. And this the fabric feels really nice. I like how that feels. Okay, all right, let's open up another one. You know, I really appreciate game companies, especially in today's day and age, that like appreciate their player base. And like, this is just a nice gesture. Like I said, none of this is sponsored or anything. They didn't tell me to, they just said, hey, we want to send you a gift box. And I'm like, okay, cool. And so far, everything in here has actually been really good quality. Wow, check that out. What is this? Is this like a raincoat, maybe? The fabric is fascinating. I don't even know what I would call this fabric. Oh, it has a print on the back as well. That's all I wanted to show you guys really quickly. Just a gift box that, Hero Games had sent me, and I thought it was really cool. I thought it was a nice gesture as well. So I thought I'd just show you guys what is included. If you want to buy any of these things, I have no idea if they like sell any of this stuff. They have barcodes on them, so I'm assuming that they offer these. So if you want to pick up some Black Myth Wukong merch, I'm sure there's a place to do it. All right, let's get back to the episode. Next up, we have one that I kind of really dig it, honestly, and that is the Great Sage, I don't know how to say it, Huangfen Trident. I only have pretty much one gripe with it, and that is that and it's not even a gripe, right? It's kind of like a trade-off, I would say, because this trident here, I think, first off, we'll start with the end spike. Obviously, it's a little bit big. You don't really need the spike to be that fat and thick, but I still think it's fine. I like that it has the spike. The haft is a reasonable thickness and size. That's what she said. I also like that the actual trident portion isn't overly built and overly bulk like we see on a lot of the other weapons, meaning that the balance on it wouldn't actually be that terrible. So I really like that. I also like that we have obviously the center spike protruding further than the other 2 points. So the only kind of like trade-off downside I would say to this one is this would probably have to be used more as a slashing trident, more so than a thrusting trident, and the reason why is simply this head does not protrude enough, I think, compared to the other 2 points. And then on top of that, because they are curved extra tines, essentially, when they actually hit something, it means that the force required to actually get in that shape to push in further is a lot, rather than just straight points. So a lot of the force is going to get concentrated right around these areas here, and it's going to be really, really not ideal to thrust with this sort of trident. But because we have such a large blade down here that looks like we can slash with some of it, so like I said, like there's a trade-off, right? We're trading off that thrusting capability for more of a slashing capability. And the reason why I would personally prefer more thrusting on a trident like this is because you have that extra reach. So use it, essentially. Thrust is more deadly than a slash. And with a pole arm like this, I think thrusting would be, you could probably even, you know, mitigate it a little bit if we just made this center spike longer. Then you get the best of both worlds. So the trident, I think, is the best so far. I really like it. Obviously, I still like Ryu Jingu Bang more, but Ryu Jingu Bang first, trident second so far. See, the Chubai spear, I think, is what I was kind of explaining a little bit further with the Erlang Shang spear. See how we have a lot more of a cutting surface along the head. Then we have these points that you could use not only to catch some blades, but you could probably even use them as anti-armor points. The issue I have with this one, obviously, is it's not that long. We don't have much handle length here, so using it like a spear, your hands are going to get fucked up by all those little bits down near the end, which is really not good. On top of that, you see how thick everything is here. See how thick all that is. So the balance on this one would be terrible. It'd be terrible, essentially. But I do like the actual spearhead itself more, I would say, than the Erlang Shang one. I think that's how you say his name. All right, and I think this will be one of our last ones. And this is obviously the Yang Zhan axe. I don't know if I'm saying these right. I'm probably not. Okay, I have some gripes with it, and I think my biggest gripes with it are, with an axe head, right? I got an axe here. You want to concentrate all of the force down on the axe head, because that's the part that makes contact. That's the part that smashes things, right? And cuts things. So having all of the weight here means that the axe head isn't the heaviest part of the axe. And when it hits something, kind of like with the big, the sword, right? Is the head is going to want to instantly roll when it makes contact. And especially because we have that round handle rather than a indexed handle like an actual axe would have, it means that when it hits something, controlling that axe head is going to be a lot more difficult. I do like that we have the additional spike. It's a bit thick, it's a bit fat, but you know, it's still there. I still like it. This back spike though, I don't know if I'm a fan of that. I think something like this, you can see this one here, is a lot more realistic, a lot more just, you know, that armor penetrating point. This one just adds a lot of weight. And obviously we have 2 points here. Obviously we want to concentrate all the weight, all the force just on that 1 point. But overall, I think you could probably make it work, probably. The issue I have is just that weight distribution, because so much of the weight is not concentrated on the axe head. It's kind of like in the middle of the haft, I guess. So this one is a little bit complicated. I still think you could probably get away with it, probably, but it would just be a very unbalanced axe, I would say. So let me know if there's anything that you agreed or disagreed with my assessment on any of these Wukong weapons. Obviously, we've done Ryu Jingu Bang itself, which was really fun, really awesome. So check that out if you haven't already. And let me know what you think of today's episode. Obviously, we focus primarily on a whole bunch of real weapons and their real world practicality. A lot of these designs aren't terrible or like completely out the realms of possibility. There's just some more, like, I would say, refinement needed on most of them. Some of them are dumb, but some of them are really, really good, and some of them just work out the box, kind of like this one. So check out this episode if you haven't already, because it's fantastic. It was one of my favorites. But that's going to be all. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to support this channel and the content that I make and the projects that I have upcoming, you can support my Patreon. There'll be links down below. But that's going to be all for now. Thank you guys for watching. As always, I'll see you next week. Another episode. Have a good one.